Hey, everybody, welcome to our Wednesday episode of the Orange Report with Kira Davis, live, bringing you California news with Orange County views. And we discuss all of the news that's relevant in California, Orange County, and around America because California news is America news right now. And my gosh, this is so much to talk about, like all the time. Let me adjust here, push you back further. We had another governor's debate here in California. And let me tell you something, folks. Let me tell you something. We have gone from having zero governors debates, like never getting to hear from our gubernatorial candidates on the same stage, to now it's like a plethora of them. I cannot believe how many debates there have been. And it's not been that many, but for California, it's a lot. It's another sign of where we're at. I want to encourage everyone to follow us. We are on X. I'm broadcasting live to my personal X account, Just Kira Davis. And of course, we have our Orange Report brand, Orange Report OC. You can follow us either or. I would appreciate it if you would go and follow Orange Report OC everywhere. That just helps the show brand. But of course, it's all Kira Davis all the time. You're welcome. We do a rap show on Fridays, not a rap like us rap hip hop, but a wrap up show on Fridays. Is really California and Orange County focused, and that's more of a formal setting. But Monday through Wednesday, we're live to X, YouTube, and Facebook. So I want to thank everybody who has been tuning in into those places, and we really appreciate your participation. And let me pull up the chat here because I missed the chat yesterday. I forget that you can chat. I'm just an old lady, everybody. Just bear with me. But yeah, we had our debate, another debate last night. Full disclosure, I didn't watch the whole thing. I didn't watch it at all last night. I was actually recording. I was working when it was on. I got up early this morning to watch it, watched some of it. And honestly, I just hate to say this as a friend of Steve Hilton's and a huge Steve Hilton supporter, but I couldn't finish it. I already know what all Steve is going to say. I know what Chad believes and what he's going to say, and it's nothing controversial. I mean, despite how I believe he is not a good candidate for governor, I have no qualms with, the statements that he makes on the debate stages and what his beliefs are. They line up a lot with mine. I do want to say, what I saw of Bianco, I thought he did very well. It was a very interesting contrast. There's no real shocking contrast between the Republicans and the Democrats, but to be able to see the Republican candidates and contrast them, Chad looked way more confident last night than I've seen him ever look, to be honest with you. And he had some really good things to say. So I want to give him his flowers. I don't always want to be negative about Bianco. We all know where I stand on that. I picked my candidate, and obviously, and I don't think I've given Steve like a formal endorsement. Now that I think about that, I never think anybody wants my formal endorsement. Like, who am I? I'm just a lady who streams from her office, her makeshift office, and talks about California politics. Somehow I keep getting work. I'm not sure how, but I was talking to my son this morning about how God uses people. And it's like, it doesn't matter whether or not you want to be used, or like God will use you. It doesn't matter if you're great at what you're doing or you're not great at what you're doing. God will use you. So I guess that's just what I'm doing here. But maybe I should offer Steve my formal endorsement. And so maybe I'll get to that later today with a couple of other candidates. But I know you guys are curious about the debate. I did watch clips. I did watch half of it. I got halfway through it. And I just want to say, I think that the moderators, it was CBS LA. The moderators, it was probably the best moderated debate I've ever seen in California, period. Period. It was really good. The ladies were on, it was Pat Harvey and Julie. I can't remember. I'm sorry, Julie. You'll remember Julie, though, because Katie Porter walked out on an interview with her. Is that Julie? And she is from up north, so CBS up north. Fantastic. Like, ladies, I want to send this to the anchors at the national level, the Nora O'Donnells of the world, the Margot whatever of the world, the Dana Bashes who moderate these presidential debates that we see every 4 years. And they're just horrid. They're just horrid women and incurious women. And they're just there to score points instead of get answers for the people. They need to watch that debate last night, and Pat Harvey and Julie, I'm sorry, Julie, they masterclass. Those women were incredible. They were lighthearted. First of all, they were lighthearted. They kept the candidates on task. It's really hard. You got to wrestle those guys because they're going to take every second and more, as they should. That's what you should do as a candidate. What you never want to do is end before your time is up, before your time is over. This is one of the criticisms that I had for the original Democrats on that original debate stage, and I've had that for Chad Bianco in his discussions with Steve as well. I have always felt he leaves too much time on the table, and not that I should be advising his campaign, but you always should. That's just 101. Take all of your time and then some. These women were fantastic, but listen, shout out to my girl, Pat Harvey from CBS LA, KCRA down here locally. She's on that station. Pat Harvey, gee, why don't you pull her up? I think I put her on the list there, Scott, so just so people can see Pat Harvey. I think I have her down there. Yeah, number 10. Number 10, the great Pat Harvey. Pat Harvey, I think, has been working in Los Angeles news or the Los Angeles area news for something like 35 years, maybe 40 years. There she is, Pat Harvey. Homegirl is a solid pro. Pat Harvey, in my book, you are the gold standard. I freaking love this woman. She's always been a mainstay. I watch her in and out, but I don't pay a whole lot of attention to her. But when I did start paying attention to her was during the LA fires. And I was glued to KCRA. And because they ran coverage 24/7. They ran the CBS live coverage, and then they would switch to their local affiliate, which is when Pat Harvey would come in and some of those other people in the studio. And this woman knew what she was talking about. She had that it reminded me of the way people used to love Dan Rather or Walter Cronkite because they had such a calming presence, but they sounded very knowledgeable. That's how Pat Harvey is. She knew what questions to ask. She didn't get tired. I'm only 51 and I couldn't have worked at the pace and the level that she worked during the fire. She was on air basically for 4 days straight. This woman is a 10 out of 10 in my book. And she proved it again on that stage last night. She did not let the candidates wrestle away from any of the important questions. She was lighthearted and she scolded some of them too, which I really appreciated. She scolded them for getting off topic, for not answering the question. So if I had an award to give out, if there was a winner of last night's debate, it's Pat Harvey. And everyone needs to, go and take her class. Well done, young lady. I am a fan. I am officially a fan. Let's see. What else do we have here? Do I want to? You know what? Before we get into debate clips, I pulled some of what I think are the most relevant clips. Let's play number 1. This is a Spencer Pratt. Spencer Pratt, candidate for Los Angeles mayor, dropped an ad today. And we showed the Latinos for Pratt. That wasn't a Spencer Pratt ad. That was an independent group that did that, and it turned out to be amazing. We loved it. Well, this is another fantastic. Everybody pay attention. Every politician pay attention. We're tired of your boring, shake this person's hand, kiss this baby ads. Tell us what you're passionate about. Tell us what we should be passionate about. That's what we need right now. And California is a state of passionate people. We're creators here. We're innovators here. We're tired of the same old suit and ties and the same old cliches. And we know you don't mean it anymore. Spencer Pratt released this ad. I think it's absolutely brilliant. If I lived in LA City, this would be what would convince me. Let's go ahead and play this ad.
This is where Mayor Vass lives. You notice something? Or here, where Nithya Raman's $3 million mansion sits. They don't have to live in the mess they've created where you live. This is where I live. They let my home burn down. I know what the consequences of failed leadership are. That's why I'm running for mayor, for my sons and the rest of us Angelinos that want to stop these corrupt politicians from destroying our city. We are going to get the golden age of Los Angeles back. This is where Mayor...
Well done. I don't know what else to say. Well done. I don't think you could find a more stunning or effective image than this young man standing in front of the trailer home that he has to now raise his family in because everything burned to the ground because of Karen Bass, because of Los Angeles Democrats. I mean, it gives you chills. And he's wearing a suit that he had to go buy special because he doesn't have clothes left. People were criticizing him because he looked so dumpy out there on the streets running for mayor, just in sweatpants, and he doesn't have anything. Everything burned down. Spencer Pratt is the story. Spencer Pratt is the American story. This is the American story to go from one of the most hated men in Hollywood to now one of the most celebrated men, maybe the possible savior of Los Angeles. And for the young people out there, I know you've seen some clips, but like go back, watch Laguna Hill, like watch The Hills, watch Heidi and Spencer. I'm not quite sure where Heidi is on all of this. She's not really running next to him, but I would like to point out, I think this is important. A lot of people don't understand this about California politics. It's actually very common in California politics for politicians to run without their spouses. I don't know why it's like that here. It's like that in the UK too. It's sort of like, well, this is personal and this is political, and we don't really mix the two. I'm not sure why it's like that or when it got to be that way. I'm not saying none of them do, some do, but it's just very common for people to run without spouses. You know, at a federal level, if you're running for president, you don't run for president without a wife. That's why all of these like on the bubble guys like Cory Booker, like they find a fiance last minute when they're going to make a run. Americans want to see a president who is married. And but it's not that way in California politics, so I don't totally mind not seeing Heidi. I do worry that maybe he's leaving some glam on the table, but maybe his team has made some calculations on that. Maybe we'll see her later, but maybe she just doesn't feel like it. She's traumatized from losing her home and having to raise her sons in a trailer. I don't know. Very effective ad. Now I want you to pair that image of Spencer standing in front of his trailer in that burned out Palisades lot, and only 4 permits have been approved in the year and a half since the fires. And this past week, we saw the video. We've already heard this phone call from Karen Bass we didn't know who she was talking to, but she was talking to somebody, and she was saying, they were asking her, why aren't you here? There's this firestorm, or not a firestorm, wind event coming. And, there's going to be probably going to be a lot of damage. And she says very cryptically, you'll see soon. We need you to be patient. You're going to see what this is all about. Well, that guy came out this week, and it turns out, what is he? A developer. He's a developer. He owns dozens of properties across Los Angeles. He's one of Karen Bass's biggest donors. He leaked the audio. He leaked it because I guess he grew a conscience, or he worried he might get caught up in this. But honestly, when you hear this, I didn't pull it for today because I want to get to debate stuff, but you can find it on X. I think he realized, guys, this is all alleged, and I'm just thinking out loud here, so I am not making any claims, all right, lawyers. But I feel like what this all adds up to is that Karen Bass and her cronies set the Palisades on fire on purpose. And we say it all the time. In Malibu, they're still having that problem. In Malibu, those people can't get the permits to rebuild, and it's been years, 4 years, 5 years. It's been a long time. They can't rebuild. They're still having the same problems. They're doing this on purpose. The government wants that land. And a lot of people say, well, that's what happened in Hawaii too. We should stop looking at this kind of stuff as conspiracy theory. These people have proven that they have no scruples and no morals, and they will do anything for power. They will do anything. They will lie. They will cheat. We're going to look at some cheating today. They will even kill. Like, it's very chilling to think. It's very chilling to think about it, and I don't want to think about it. But if you replay what happened when Karen Bass landed during the fires and then the ensuing few days, and with Trump having to come in and throw his weight around, it looks different. It starts to look different. When that filter changes, you start to go, holy cow. Yeah, maybe they did burn down the Palisades. maybe they actually left that reservoir empty, legit, on purpose. Not just mismanagement, but on purpose. And I want Janice Canoas, or however the hell you say her name, that Hispanic woman who could barely speak English, who is running LAWDP, that's the LA Water Department, to the tune of almost $1 million salary a year. I want her in handcuffs. I think she's complicit. She got to retire and she gets her full pension. And what does Spencer Pratt have? I don't want us to just go, oh, what a crazy time. Let's just pull ourselves out of this and move forward and fix things. I don't want to say that anymore. I want retribution. I want to see people go to jail. As a matter of fact, I think this nation and this state, when we win it, Steve Hilton, pay attention. When we win this state, I think we need our own version of a Truth and Reconciliation Committee. I think we need truth and reconciliation, just like they did, to not much avail now that things are in South Africa, but in Rwanda and other African nations that have experienced genocides. And in other nations, period, it's not uncommon, a Truth and Reconciliation Committee. It doesn't have the power of the law behind it, but what it does is it's basically a traveling talk show. It's a traveling hearing. It gives the American citizens a chance to give their testimony. This is what not only do you say this is what I experienced during these very dark times, but then people who perpetrated some of this stuff can come forward with immunity. That's the hard part to accept, but we're not going to get all of these people. So some of these people come forward with immunity and say, yeah, I did this. I did it. And hopefully what they say is, I did it and I'm sorry about that. I feel badly about that. But what it does is it exposes what used to be conspiracy and puts it into the realm of truth. And that makes it easier for people to stop hating each other. We need truth and reconciliation. All this stuff needs to be on the table. We need to see what was done to us and what has been done to us. And it's probably going to be shocking how evil some of it is. All right, let's get to this debate, because I know y'all been waiting for it. We'll start with number 2. This is Xavier. I do not even call him Xavier Becerra anymore. He is only Javier Baccaria to me forevermore. Thank you, Joe Biden. Javier Baccaria. These people are stupid. And I don't mean that as an insult, although I do mean it to be insulting. I mean it as a fact. These people are stupid. Democrats are stupid. DEI makes people stupid. It makes us hire stupid people to do important jobs. And this man is one of those people. If you ever wonder why Kamala Harris sounds so stupid,
Trump from continuing to make the problem,
it's because she's from California. And California Democrats are stupid. I haven't seen an intelligent one yet. They sound dumb. They don't read. They have had no challenges, so they don't have to know what their job is. And I mean that literally. They don't know what the jobs are that they're running for. We're going to see some of that in these clips. They don't know. They don't read. They actually don't talk to constituents. They don't read the laws that they supposedly sponsor. Their staff does all that. These people are stupid. And they've been cheating to win. And that's the only way that the American people have been electing stupid people. So here is our first clip, Javier Baccaria talking about, he made a really flip comment about Trump being Steve's daddy. Let's listen to this.
so bad. Had Donald Trump allowed the premium tax credits under the Affordable Care Act to continue forward, millions of Californians would be able to afford their health care insurance. Had Donald Trump not gutted $1 trillion out of the Medicaid program, which is called Medi-Cal here, we wouldn't be facing 3 million Californians losing their health insurance. The first thing we have to do is stop Steve Hilton's daddy, who has endorsed him and said, that's what we got to do, from becoming the next governor of the state of California. We need someone who's going to fight Donald Trump, not agree with him.
Steve Hilton's daddy. All right. I believe you're talking about the president there, right? Because I haven't heard your actual father say anything about health care cuts here in
Go ahead,
California.
Pat.
But I'm going to let you answer that question and, of course, respond to Mr. Becerra.
It would be rather amazing, Javier. My dad was the goalie for the Hungarian national ice hockey team. And I don't think he weighed in on this issue at all. Look, I think what you just saw there is actually what's going wrong with our politics in California, which is all these big things that affect us on a daily basis. These are decisions made here in California by our politicians. And we've had the same people in charge for 16 years now. And because it's such a disaster and such a high cost of living for everyone, and the highest poverty rate in the country, and the highest unemployment rate in the country, and the worst business climate, all these things going wrong, they can't do anything except blame Trump. Let's see how many times you hear that tonight. We need change in
All right,
he
can
hasn't
stop
said he would
it here.
oppose Donald Trump's cuts.
We need
First of all, once again, shout out. And Pat, by the way, you look pretty in pink, girl. Shout out to my homegirl, Pat Harvey. Hashtag gold. Yeah, and Steve was right. Just watch how many times they say that. And that's what they did, from everything. I mean, I watched I think it was 90 minutes and I watched 45. So, but I mean, that was the last debate too. Everything was Trump. Steve absolutely nailed it. It was a great answer, by the way. Javier Beccaria, what a pathetic loser. Again, the whole thing, Trump's your daddy, Trump's your daddy. You know what? Trump's not running for governor of California. And I love the answer that Steve gives. It's the same answer he gives about that Trump endorsement every time. When people ask him to apologize for it for some reason, and he says, I'm proud to have the president's endorsement. This is the president of the United States, and this is somebody we're going to have to work with. All of these people are running to work against the president of the United States. But at the same time, they're asking him, fund more Medi-Cal. We don't have enough money for Medi-Cal. We have too many illegal immigrants on it. We need money for Medi-Cal. Gavin Newsom. Where is Gavin Newsom, everybody? Where is he? It's like he doesn't exist in this state anymore. He's in D.C. Politico used to run every day. They send an email out every day, California Playbook. And every day there's a Where is Gavin Newsom section on there. And they haven't had anything on there for months. No one knows where he is and why. He's in D.C. asking for money. He was in D.C. asking for more fire money. He was in D.C. Not too long ago asking for healthcare money. Like, these are the same people who are like, we're going to fight Donald Trump. Well, Donald Trump's the president. So if you need money, you got to go to D.C. and you got to play nice with him. Congress does have the purse strings. But guess what? Congress is majority Republican. And the way things are going, we're going to talk about a really huge redistricting decision this morning from the Supreme Court. The way things are going for Democrats, it's going to stay red. What did I say yesterday? I know a lot of people, you don't believe me. Democrats are in their death throes. This is what's happening. This is why they're so violent. This is the end for them. They are in their death throes. Now, let me make this clear before we move on to the next clip. I don't want the Democrat Party to end. I don't want Democrats to go away. I don't want a one-party system. I live in a one-party system. That's dangerous. Ask Texans about living in a Republican state, one-party state, right? They do all kinds of crazy stuff to the constituents because it's a one-party state. There's no balance there. I don't want no Democrats. I just don't want so many. And I want you guys to go back to some kind of sanity where we can at least just be arguing over, who's a bleeding heart liberal and who's a cruel capitalist instead of calling each other Nazis and trying to kill people over it. Lefties, please stop trying to kill us. Got to be helpful for all the discourse. Okay. And tell all your friends, because I know a lot of you, if you're watching this show or watching this clip, you're probably not a person who's going to go out and kill somebody, but go tell all your friends because some of your friends are doing it. And, again, before I move on, let me add this. I think for a lot of you lefties out there, if I told you, you know what, I'm going to give you a gun, it's going to be like a purge day, you can go eliminate any high profile Republican you want, and there will be no consequences. You got 12 hours to do it. There will be no consequences, no moral consequences, no legal consequences. I think most of you would say yes to that. I do. And I can already hear you through my computer screen, pretend listener and viewer, that you're saying, well, Kira, you would too if there's no consequences, no moral consequences, no legal consequences. No, I wouldn't, because there are moral consequences and there are legal consequences because I fear the Lord, not man. So, yeah, the Lord doesn't like it when you kill folks. The Lord doesn't like it when you lie on folks, right? No, I wouldn't. I have an anchor. It's called Jesus. Absolutely not. But you don't have the same anchor, most of you. So I think, well, a lot of you would. And I think that is the thing that disturbs a lot of us out here. We know that that underneath all of that, reason and compromise and, hey, I'm a good Democrat. I agree. People are getting crazy. We know that underneath that is something darker. And I think most of you would if you could. I think most of you would if you could. And if I'm wrong, please tell me in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Okay. So anyway, the Baccaria talking about Trump's your daddy. How pathetic and high schoolish is that? And you know what? Californians don't want to hear that bullshit. We're tired of it. We don't want to hear it anymore. We need solutions. Not Trump. Trump did come here and try to throw his weight around. And guess what? They didn't do what he said anyway. All right. In light of that, let's play number 3. Let's play Steve's take on the Trump endorsement. He says this everywhere he goes. I know Steve personally. I know he's very proud. This is not just talk. He's very proud to welcome that Trump endorsement. And I have maintained from the start, as he should be. President Trump is the leader of his party. He is the leader of America, and he is the leader of the free world. Why wouldn't you want all of those endorsements? Of course. All right, let's play this.
One of the proudest days of my life was the day I became an American citizen. It happened in a ceremony right here in San Francisco. So it is a deep honor for me to be endorsed by the President of the United States. And here's the thing that's going to help every Californian when I'm governor, is that we will have a constructive relationship and partnership with the federal government, which would be the case, I would hope, for any party in that situation, so that we can make things better in California, work with the president and his administration to manage our forests better, to harvest the timber so we can build the single family homes we need for young families, to work to increase California energy production as he wants to do, so we can lower gas prices, to fight the fraud in our government so we can cut spending and cut taxes, to work to enforce our immigration laws in all these areas and more. It will benefit every Californian to have a governor who is a partner on these issues with the president and his team.
Much. Nikki?
I think it's a great answer. I think it's the right answer. Every Californian, and I know there's some true believers out there. I'm not talking to them. They've already decided. There's no persuading them. But I think every reasonable Californian should be pleased with that. You have even Zoran Mamdani goes to the White House. You know what I'm saying? Like, even he is working with the president. I mean, I know he's not getting what he wants from the president, but even the president hasn't said this guy's a communist. He has said he's communist, but he hasn't said this guy's a communist and I'm going to act like he doesn't exist. That's not what Trump has said. He said, this is the leader of one of the major cities in America. I want a relationship with him because New York is the capital center of America and the world. And it's in my country and it's my home city. I want to make sure it's good and it's safe. So of course I'm going to maintain a relationship with this person. It's not a friendship. It's a relationship. And you Democrats were like, yeah, see, that's great. That's Mamdani. He's owning the president or he's standing up to whatever, however you frame it, you have framed it as a good thing. So why wouldn't it be a good thing for the California governor to work with the president? Because not everything in California is California law. Do you understand? Not everything is set by the California legislature. We are the United States of America. So we are united under a single flag. We have our own states' rights, but some things the federal government has purview over. We should be working with them directly and constructively, as Steve said, because we're going to depend on the federal government for a lot. They're funding Medi-Cal, or hope they need to not be funding it. It's a disaster. But they are responsible for the border. They're responsible for energy policy. Oh, let's see. This is it's a survey, everybody. My phone's been ringing. Sorry, I forgot to turn it off. My phone's been ringing off the hook with surveys. I don't want to say I can't wait for election season to be done because we still have so long to go. And it's only just now ramping up. Like the political ads, all of that stuff. Anyway, we should want to work with the president in California. It doesn't mean we have to like the president, and it doesn't mean that we have to endorse all of his policies. I know there is a true blue believer class here in California that loves Gavin Newsom's stupid Z team, idiot X posting, and they love seeing him preen around and make fun of Trump on the national scene. Again, you're not going to change the minds of those people. But I tell you what, I've been all up and down this state. I have been, greeting the candidates all over this state, going to see what they're up to. I have been a reporter all up and down this state, or an opinion reporter. And I speak to Republican clubs. It's sort of my bread and butter on the flip side, all up and down this state. I've been all over this state is what I'm saying. And I think I have a decent read, not a full read, but a decent read on the populace and the mood, the vibe out there, if you will. And I just don't think Californians are buying this. I have to say, everything I heard come out of Bacaria's mouth last night sounded stale and old and moldy. There's no passion to it. There's no there. It just felt like a script. And I think before the LA fires, Californians were more primed to believe that script, to accept it. But we just heard so many scripts while LA burned that it was burned into our minds. Watching our politicians be absolutely useless and feckless and cruel and ignorant. I just think I wrote on my website, you can go find it, justcuradavis.com. I think it's one of my top articles. If you go to like the top tab, it's called Burning Away the Last of Our Fog. And I think the LA fires just did it. It tipped a lot of California over. And that's sad for the people who have suffered and not gotten any attention. The Paris fires where 80 people perished. That should have been enough to set California on a different path. But it wasn't. But it was part of this accumulation. And I just don't think we have the tolerance for it anymore. I think there are a lot of Californians who don't like Trump. I don't think we can go by the vote count, the national vote count of 24 to tell that either, because we cheated. I bet Trump won California. I'm throwing that out there for when we really dig into this voter fraud properly. I'm going to bet Trump won California. But even still, even with the cheating, he still pulled out 40%. That's a lot. And I bet that it's an even larger amount for people who just want change and can't tolerate the Democrat. I heard absolutely nothing inspiring on that stage from Democrats. Nothing different, nothing new, nothing passionate, nothing felt right. Nothing felt sincere. It all felt like they were running the same race from 12 years ago, 16 years ago, 20 years ago. All right, let's move on to let's do number 4. We're still on Jose Baccaria here. He gave again, this is more proof that these people are absolute morons and idiots. He was asked in the last debate, they all were to give a grade for President Newsom on the homeless issue. And Javier Baccaria gave him an A. He gave him an A, and everyone was shocked, even Democrats, and it went viral. It made its way all the way to D.C. Like, people were talking about Baccaria and his A. Like, who on earth would give Gavin Newsom an A on homelessness, especially if you've walked in San Francisco or Los Angeles or San Jose, San Jose, yes, but San Francisco recently. There isn't a single thinking person who would give this man an A, and Baccaria was roundly ridiculed for it. And because he's a squish and an idiot and he doesn't know what he thinks about anything, he went back and he walked that back. Of course, walked it way back. Let's play this clip.
Have been spent already to solve the homelessness crisis. But you also gave Governor Newsom an A for effort on this issue. So my question is, are those billions of dollars well spent or not? You have 45 seconds.
Yeah, and Sarah, let me clarify. I gave the governor an A for effort for his work as governor, not on this particular issue. And what I will tell you is this, that we will not cycle
The
people
audience gasped.
through the streets and into jails and just see that constant recycling. What we will do is we will build up the treatment facilities that we need.
Have been spent already to solve.
I didn't mean on homelessness, everybody. I just meant, like, overall, Gavin is like, A for effort. You know, he puts on pants in the morning and he probably goes to work out and he has people drive him around. He has podcasts. He has a couple of podcasts. So he does a lot. A for effort. I've never seen a major politician walk something back so fast and so hard. I'm surprised he didn't trip and break a hip. He was walking so hard, backpedaling so hard. What do you say? I don't even. What commentary can I make? He gave Gavin Newsom an A for effort on homelessness, and then tried to tell us, "Oh no, you didn't hear what you thought you heard." And that's the whole Democrat playbook, everybody. That's all they have to give you. Don't believe your lying eyes. Don't believe your lying ears. And that's all it is every single time. Let's get to. All right, let's play number 5. We'll do Tony Thurmond, superintendent of public schools, public instruction, which hopefully Sonia Shaw is about to win. And if she doesn't win, I think it's because of cheating. And we know she's on the track to win because the governor is going to strip the powers out of that position. He announced it this year, so we know she's going to win. Anywho, Tony Thurmond, who is, it's really a close race between him and Matt Mahan for the most milquetoast, boring, nothing candidate in this race. Like, I've never seen a man with less personality. No, I've never seen a black man with less personality. I'll put it that way. Most black men have some, like, this is why our culture is so strong in this country, you know, why we're like great entertainers, you know, and great athletes. And black men have, this is a generalized statement, of course, but black men have a certain charisma. And it's how a lot of black politicians have been able to sell themselves to the Democrat Party. That, hello, Barack Obama. There's a certain charisma about black men that people enjoy, particularly white people. Tony Thurmond has none of it. I have never seen a more uninteresting black man in my life, and I mean that. But Tony Thurmond is the prototype Democrat. So I actually pulled this clip because I thought the way Tony is talking here, this is how they all are. This is all they have to offer you at this point. And this perfectly encapsulates the entire California Democrat platform. So go ahead and play boring old Tony Thurmond.
And when I am governor, I will restore universal health care for all, including undocumented immigrants in the state of California, because we know that health care is a right. We will abolish ICE. We will create a pathway to citizenship. And right now I have legislation that puts a tax on any single company in California that does business with ICE and ICE detention centers. And when I am governor, I will restore universal health care for all, including...
That's okay. I mean, it's just, that's the prototype response right there. It's everything you don't want. It's everything it's everything America just voted against, and it's everything that's killing California. And I don't even think the Democrat voters want any of this anymore. Maybe universal health care sounds good to their ears because some of them are still kind of dorky on that. But my goodness. Yeah, we want universal health care for illegals too. And we know you can't get to see your doctor, but I'm prioritizing them. Illegal immigrants were the people he mentioned first. He's running for governor of California and he needs you to vote for him. And illegal immigrants were the people he mentioned first. I want universal health care. I want to abolish ICE. I want to punish any company that you can't abolish ICE. ICE is a constitutionally mandated law enforcement agency that is funded at the federal level. You can't abolish ICE. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. These people live in fantasy land, and they think that you live in fantasy land too. And you should be insulted by this. I do think the audience was insulted by it. I think the majority of Democrats watching it are insulted by it. I'm not saying that's pushing them to the Republican side. I am saying I think they're insulted by it. I do. I am saying I think they know that the reality of what these politicians are trying to pitch them on stage does not match up our reality on the ground. Today, there's an account I follow on Instagram. It's a guy who lives in Santa Monica in LA. And a lot of you who maybe don't go to LA or don't know LA, if you're outside of the state, if you hear the word Santa Monica, you're probably thinking about the beach, the pier, that Ferris wheel, maybe some people working out, aerobics classes on the sand, people walking around the park, people juggling, all that kind of stuff. And Santa Monica is none of that now. It's absolutely astonishing to go to Santa Monica and see what it has become. It is a ghost town. And this account, he lives in downtown Santa Monica. He takes a walk in the business district every day and he just chronicles the different businesses that have closed. And another bar closed today. Santa Monica will be where you went to the bar. All the bars are closed. All the shops are closing. The pier, there's a lot of stuff on the pier that's not there anymore, or what's there is not open. It smells like weed and pee everywhere you go. And it's not safe. The homeless run Santa Monica. Like, that's what we see. That's what people see when we see just boring, nothing burger guys like Tony Thurmond talk about, I want to give the illegals free health care. And meanwhile, another business has closed down on one of the most prominent promenades in America. It's shameful, California. It's shameful. It's why you have to vote for a Republican. It's not about Donald Trump. Like, you really do need to get his name out your mouth. He can't run this state. He doesn't run it now. God, can you imagine if Donald Trump could run this state? You know what I mean? Like, what are you worrying about? He's not running it now. If he could run it, things would look a lot different here. This is not about Donald Trump. This is about what you see in front of your eyes. And there is literally no one left to blame. There is literally no one to blame. And the only person they can blame is Trump because they know you hate him. And so maybe you might believe that. But Trump's been president for a year, and this has been going on for decades. And we got to get through some stuff. Let me see what you know what? Let's play this answer from Bianco on healthcare. I really liked it. I thought Bianco looked pretty strong up there last night from what I saw. And I think he fulfilled his function up there, which is really to be a foil. And that's all you have to be as a Republican candidate, because it's so easy to contrast yourself against the Democrats, because none of them, this is number 7, Scott, none of them, I'm just astonished, none of them have the ability to pivot, right? They don't have the ability to eat. They can't even lie and make up a lie that sounds good. Like, no, I'm not going to tax your retirement account. I'm not going to do that. Like, they can't even do that. They're just, they have one play, one playbook, one path to success. And because the Democrat Party has turned into this behemoth, and their fraud has turned into its own industry, it's too big to fail, right? It's too big to fail. They're not practiced at pivoting now, and they can't. It's their Achilles heel. I'm telling you, it's what's going to sink them. So Chad Bianco, they were asking, the healthcare debate was going on, and everybody was like, yeah, universal healthcare, except Villaraigosa. I don't know what he's doing. I guess he's trying to become the moderate Democrat, but he's such an empty suit. Everybody hates this guy. He's not going anywhere. Good try, Tony. Good try. But we remember that you destroyed LA. We remember your unhoused persons. We have unhoused because of Tony Villar. That's his real name, by the way. It's not Villaraigosa. His name is Villar, Tony Villar. He pulled a Gavin Newsom with the first partner kind of BS. He pulled a Gavin Newsom when he won office. And he said, I'm going to join names with my wife. We're going to combine our names in the tradition, Latino tradition. Villaraigosa. She's Ragosa. He's Villar. Villaraigosa. Yeah, except for him. But anyway, let's play Chad's answer on this.
Mr. Bianco.
I feel like I'm in the twilight zone here. We need to start. We have a group of 20-year-old kids, 20-ish, and we're just sitting here lying to them about broken Democrat policies in California for the last 20 years, and we're going to sit here and blame a president who's been president for a year. This is absolutely ridiculous.
What would you do then, Mr. Bianco?
If we cared about California, we wouldn't worry about what the federal government is doing. California is the fourth largest economy in the entire world. What do we care about a cut to medical?
Does that mean we support single payer in California?
Absolutely not. If you want socialism, go somewhere else, because single payer people come to America for the best medical coverage and care in the entire world.
And what if you don't have any health care? What are you going to do for the people who need
I thought I got to answer, but apparently we're just going to do this all night.
But we only have so much time. But we have 2 more half hours to go, Mr.
Take it from me. Now I see where we're going to go when you attack the Democrat policies that have destroyed this state. If you elect a governor who cares about the state, it's not going to matter whether President Trump or President whoever takes something away from the state, because the waste, fraud, the abuse of our money in California by a government that we already know hundreds of billions of dollars, and we're worried about President Trump taking away that.
Okay.
Okay, a great answer by Chad. If I was advising his campaign, I would say that's the lane you should probably stay in. He's not great on policy talk. That's Hilton's bag. And he doesn't really have this is why I don't think Chad's going to be a good governor, or could be a good governor. He doesn't have a coherent strategy. But was Bianco not speaking for all of us when he said, I feel like I'm living in the Twilight Zone, right? Like, yeah. I feel like I'm living in the Twilight Zone. And he rightly pointed out, we've got a lot of young people here. And every time you Democrats get up on the stage, you tell these young people, like, your healthcare woes will be solved with single payer. And that's a lie. And he rightly pointed out, people from single payer countries all over the world come here. Come here. There's a story up in Canada just last month. Now that Canada has assisted suicide, the government is using that as healthcare. Let that chill your bones. They're using that as an excuse not to treat people. It's like, we can't offer you this cancer treatment, but we can offer you assisted suicide. So there's a woman up there. She had some kind of cancer. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head. And treatable, but very advanced. And so, she was on the bubble, very ill. She could not get approved for this cancer surgery. She was on the list for, I think, 2 years or something. And finally, they said, look, you're not going to get approved, but we will approve you for medically assisted dying, for MAID. I mean, I think she's in her 40s. They said, we will help you kill yourself. Guess what happens to her organs, by the way? I don't know. Guess. Guess what happens to her organs when the Canadian government kills her? They take them. You want to know how they take them? I wrote a story on this. You know how they take them? They come to your house. They administer the first round of murderous drugs, just the kind that'll sedate you and start to bring your body systems down. And then they'll load you up into an ambulance and they'll take you to the hospital. This is all true. You can look it up yourself. They'll take you to the hospital and they'll finish the job there in a safe environment where they can harvest your organs while you're still alive. Canada is running an organ harvesting operation, and that's why you can't ever legalize suicide, assisted suicide, or suicide, period. That's why. That's legalizing a culture of death, and that's where it ends. So this man, what did he do? He put his wife in a car. He escaped. He put his wife in a car and drove to the United States and paid for her cancer treatment. And she's still alive. And she's recovering. Single payer people come here for their health care. Our health care is being broken by the people who want to turn it into single payer. And that's disgusting. And Chad rightly pointed it out. And he rightly pointed out that you are lying to the young people sitting in front of you. You know that you're stealing from their future. You know what you're offering them is going to ensure that they never have a California dream. You know that. You know that. Let's see. We're running out of time here. Let's go. I've got two more and I got to get to these. These are really big and I think they're really important. Number 8, redistricting. SCOTUS, big decision today. What did I tell you? Do you guys listen to me? Do you guys pay attention? And sometimes I clip up my genius and I put it out there for y'all to see and share. And I don't feel like you're getting it. I don't feel like you're giving me my credit for how intelligent I am. What did I tell you with the redistricting stuff? And Virginia, we lost Prop 50. Virginia voted for theirs. And I said, it's not over. It's not over. We have legal avenues, but even beyond the legal avenues, it's not over. There is a lot more going on here. And these are the final death throes of the Democrat Party. But they have already painted themselves into this redistricting corner. I told you that months ago. Months ago, they've got almost nothing left to redistrict. They've cheated so much. They have almost no more cheating left to go do. So today, SCOTUS handed down their decision in a Louisiana case about redistricting based on race. And they're saying you can't do it. And ladies and gentlemen, to my mind, that kills redistricting, period, because that's the only reason anyone does it. It's the only reason. It's always based on race. As long as I've been alive, I don't know what it was pitched as in the beginning, but I've always thought gerrymandering was just a terrible idea, period. We shouldn't have it, period. The only reason we have it is because of Democrats. Democrats want, it's the only way they can win. They can't win on their ideas. I'm telling you, people, when we get national voter ID, we're not going to have to worry about the Democrats for two decades. What's going to happen is they're all going to run as Republicans, which is what is beginning to happen. They're all going to run as Republicans, and that's how you get that title, Rhino, Republican in name only. Let's play this clip. This is CNN freaking out.
They think 19 seats could be at risk all throughout the South. The question will be the timing. Is this a 2028 play? Is this a 2026 play? There are some primaries here coming up, not until later in the cycle. August 6th, there's one in Tennessee. That's Steve Cohen's seat. That's a majority minority district. That's in August 6th. The one Democratic seat there. The Jim Clyburn seat in South Carolina. That is the Democratic seat in South Carolina. That's a June 9th primary. Jamie, this shows you the ramifications long term for this ruling.
Absolutely. Just think about that number. 19 seats in play. And let's look at this politically. Laura, you talked about confusion going into this race. We're worried about voter suppression. Apart from the long-term impact, we are going to see people take advantage of that confusion. There is going to be,
when we get clarity, they call it confusion.
High stakes that anybody who thinks they can take advantage on the state level of this decision, there is going to be a scramble to see if they can, because each side thinks this is an existential midterm with the House, especially.
Yeah. Well, she's right. Every side is going to, Democrats aren't going to see, Democrats know they can't take advantage of this. There is no way for them to take advantage of this. They know they're screwed, right? They've redistricted themselves really almost to the last of it. Republicans, if they're smart, will absolutely take advantage of this. They'll start challenging. We need to bring this challenge. We did a challenge for Prop 50 based on that as well. It didn't make it out the California Supreme Court. This is a banana republic. Again, I want to say, how long can we go on like this and still call ourselves a state in the United States of America? But anyway, you heard him say, this is this Zaria, is his name or something. He said, look at this, like Jim Clyburn. Jim Clyburn is the reason why Donald Trump is president today, everybody. Jim Clyburn. He is the black vote whisperer from the South who is Biden's best friend and endorsed Biden and kept Biden in the race when he really needed to have left. We have Jim Clyburn. We have Jim Clyburn to thank for Biden winning the primaries in 2020. Jim went to South Carolina, secured that for Biden. And that's why we got Biden in 2020 when he was clearly losing the primaries. Jim Clyburn is a thug. Jim Clyburn is a OG Democrat thug. He has weight. He has influence. He has power. And the thought of his seat being redistricted. Because you heard that CNN anchor admit, yeah, it is. It's a majority-minority district. We're not supposed to be doing that. Supreme Court said we're not supposed to be doing that. So, yeah, we got to redraw all this. But I want to refer you to how they talked about it at the beginning. And they said, well, we don't know. He said, we don't know. Is this a play for the midterms? This is a 2028 play. See, they look at everything like a play. They look at your life like a game. They look at politics, this country, like a game. And that's how they frame it. It's not a game to you, is it? It's not a game when every year the government's getting more and more out of your pocket. It's not a game when your child is murdered or attacked by an illegal alien who shouldn't be here and who has 80 prior convictions. It's not a game when your business shuts down because you have a government that believes that you can't make your own decisions in a fake pandemic. It's not a game when your job forces you to take an experimental vaccine just so you can work or just so you can go to school. It's not a game when your Santa Monica pub closes down because you can't afford all of the regulations and the red tape and the crime, but the Mexican street vendor out front gets to sell food right in front of your restaurant with no consequences whatsoever. It's not a game when people die in the dozens on the streets of LA from fentanyl every day. It's not a game when your child has to wade through human feces and human tragedy just to get to school. It's not a game for you, California, is it? It's not a game for you, America, is it? It's a game to them. And that's evil. You have to make them pay. We have an election coming up. You have to make them pay. They're freaked out about this redistricting because they know what they've been doing to us for decades and decades now. They know. And we're on to the game now. And now we're playing and it's their rules. We're playing by their rules. So, yeah, it's not over by any stretch of the imagination. It is not time for you to give up hope. It is time for you, America, to double down. I don't want to see any like weeping and whining like, yes, but Democrats are cheating and they're just so good at cheating. You know what? If you think you're never going to win, then you're never going to win. I still believe in the American spirit. I still believe in the California spirit. I still believe that we have a voice and the American psyche is a lot stronger than we're giving it credit for. I just want you to believe with me. But you know what? If you don't believe with me, fine. If you want to be a loser, go be a loser. And you're going to be feeling real sad when us winners are celebrating. America is not dead yet. And the Democrats don't own everything. And they're not invincible. What a ridiculous thing to think. Do you even believe in God? All right. That's it. Follow me everywhere. Please like us on YouTube, Facebook, X. We stream live on X, Orange Report OC. Please share from there. We do appreciate that. I do appreciate everything. Go ahead and drop me a line, drop me a DM. You want to get in touch with me, holler. If you have a story, a California story, a local story that you think I should be covering, send that my way. I love to do local news. Housekeeping, I'm going to be hosting Dr. Drew, Ask Dr. Drew live later on this afternoon. You can find him here on X. He streams to X, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, all the places. And so go look up Ask Dr. Drew and make sure you're following him. And I'll be filling in for him today. That's really exciting. And then I get to see him tomorrow, actually. We're going to be at the same event. And so looking forward to that. I'll take pics for y'all. And then tonight I will be on News Nation with Katie Pavlich. We will be talking a little bit about this redistricting stuff. And we'll be talking about, at least so far, topics change, but I think we'll be talking about Pete Hegseth and his wife at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and the dress she wore. She's getting some criticism for it because apparently it's a Temu dress. And so a lot of Democrats have been commenting on it. So I have some thoughts on that as well. I'll be talking to Katie Pavlich tonight about that. So I will say goodbye to you for now. But until we see each other again, don't forget that sunlight is the best disinfectant. So bring on the sunshine.